Hi everyone and welcome to another Trekyards mission briefing, a weekly dose of Star Trek goodness. We take a ship from any of the multiple facets of the Star Trek verse, books, games, movies, shows, other shows, there's like five shows, depending how you count them, and we look at all of them. So Stuart, what are we doing today?
Today we are looking at something that is an interesting part of Star Trek history. And you're probably wondering what I'm doing.
Very much so.
I'm being very animated for some reason. Sorry. Yeah, we're looking at something from Star Trek: The Animated Series. Uh, and today we're looking at an interesting little vessel called the Aqua Shuttle.
Ooh. Now, for those who don't know, the animated show was a animated TV show. It's made after TOS and brought back almost all the original cast for new adventures and lasted one season before they made the movie many years later. So it was the next return to form, and it was more creative in a sense because they weren't limited by real budgets. So I don't remember this at all, Stuart.
Well, this is from an episode called The Ambergris Element. And this is basically the Aqua Shuttle is just what it says it is. It's designed to explore underwater areas. It's an underwater reconnaissance vessel.
So you're saying they don't take the whole Enterprise underwater then to do those things?
No, because that would just be ridiculous. So.
Okay. Well, good to know then. Okay. So my take on this straight away is that it has warp nacelles, which is interesting. Although I guess they're not warp nacelles for TOS. They are impulse engines.
Yeah, I don't know if this thing's capable of warp. There's really not any statistics on it. I would maybe low warp.
Because if it's designed for an Aqua mission profile, but then would that limit you specifically? Or would you still want it to be an all-round craft just with Aqua speciality, or would you make it dedicated for marine research?
My thought would be that it's specifically designed to go from a ship to an ocean, explore the ocean, so it doesn't really need warp.
Okay.
Unless the ship took off to another ship in another planet in the solar system and they had to get back to meet the ship or something, which low warp would be fine for, I'm sure. But yeah, I would think maybe not have warp. So.
Well, cause I don't really remember it from the show. So do you remember you seeing it from the show back when the animated series came out?
I never watched the animated series when it first came out, first run. I don't think. I just remember seeing it one episode going, and that's kind of odd. You know, the type F shuttle is space worthy, therefore it would be water worthy, you would assume. Perhaps this has an advanced propulsion drive for underwater to make it move better. I don't know. I would think that any shuttle could go underwater, personally. I mean, we know they can take whole ships underwater, apparently, so, you know.
My assumption, I don't want to get too far into it, there's lots more pictures, but my assumption is that this has dedicated shielding and armour that lets it go to incredible depths, that, there are greater pressures underwater in especially alien planets, because they're not going to just base it on how far our, planetary ocean is. Space is a certain amount of pressure, but underwater even more. So maybe it's dedicated for that sort of, situation. So,
yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, remember in Voyager they'd especially retrofit the Delta Flyer, which is a very advanced shuttle, to go into this water planet.
Yes, yes.
So makes sense.
Well, if we go to the next picture, it's just a shot of it launching out of the shuttle bay and taking off for its mission. It's got a very cool look to it, a very interesting shape. So yeah, there's really not a whole lot to talk about on this one, unfortunately. But I mean, I did find quite a few great pictures of it, so to kind of expand people's knowledge as to how it looks. So
cool.
And the next picture is a shot from the episode where it's sitting on top of the water, and it also has the shape of the hull is very like a hydro. I can't think of the word.
Hydrofoil.
Yes, where it's for the boats that just barely touch the surface when they go at high speed. So again, that makes sense for that shape.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It does feel a lot like a sort of a speedboat, but more Star Trek-y. Like it's a speedboat, but given the same boxiness of the TOS shuttle to give that continuity. Like if it was a really pointy shuttle, it wouldn't fit with TOS aesthetic. So they've kind of TOS up a speedboat.
Yeah, it's a good explanation, I guess. It's very slender and not very tall. The next picture, of course, is it just cruising underwater. Got some motion, some blur there to show like it's underwater in depth. So they did pretty good stuff in the animated series.
I didn't realize it was had this arcing bit.
Well, that's what I was trying to talk about with the hydrofoil design.
That's
like the very fast speedboats.
Confusing because we saw it leave. It has to be in the shuttle bay physically, but it also has to fit in a separate shuttle bay, so it can't just take up that. I mean,
well, that's an interesting point because I have a picture of the shuttle bay with the shuttles.
Okay, I'm confused, but okay, it's a good thing probably.
The next picture has just got a few different shots of it from the episode, plus an interior view. That's about the only really interior view we get of this one.
Huh.
So it's got enough room for about probably 4 to 6 people. Not very big.
It's very TOS shuttle-y, just with more glassy, I guess, or transparent steel windows, more wraparound.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. Next picture is just a great. Somebody redid it. Again, I think it's an interesting design, and it is very aerodynamic because it would have to be if it's going into atmospheres all the time. Plus, underwater aerodynamics does help because you are pushing against water, so there's not much surface area at the front to really slow it down. Again, that's probably why they don't use the Type F. It's kind of just a block.
It's true. It's very thin, certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next picture is the shot I was talking about with the animated show. All the shuttles in the shuttle bay. They had heavy shuttles. They have a bunch of different variations, but the shuttle bay is pretty big. And
this is a shot from the animated show, is it?
Yeah.
So it looks to be in widescreen, or I guess they just cropped off the top and the bottom. But
well, it was a pan across.
Oh, and they just
so what they
together.
did was they took all of the frames and just put it together into one.
That's clever. That's I mean, that's a very big shuttle bay. We know exactly how big the Type F is. We can see one. This is a Kelvin style shuttle bay, and you can't
see the Aqua Shuttle specifically in this picture, but you can see some of the other models they have.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be roughly the same size, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not. This is not how they indicated in the show. You could put them, too deep and then a runway in between. This is it's where the Kelvin got it from. I guess the animated Connie is the same as the Kelvin style.
Oh yeah, this is very TARDIS effecty shuttle bay.
Yeah.
Because we know that there's at least 4 shuttles in the Enterprise. You would think 7 because the Galileo 7. It was numbered 7.
Yes, you would think that, wouldn't you?
But from what I've seen of blueprints and stuff, there's 2 shuttle bay storages underneath the shuttle bay, and then they can store 2 on the main deck side by side, and that's pushing it for side.
Well, we see often that shuttles go off and do their own missions, so it's possible they could be, regularly ferrying passengers between different. I mean, obviously, it's silly if it hasn't got warp, so they must have warp to make it practical. But go between star bases, and then the next one goes off. But it's somewhat inefficient. Just send the damn ship. Doesn't take very long to get places.
Well, in the Menagerie, the shuttle bay was from the starbase, and it was following the Enterprise for a while. So I assume they do have low warp capabilities.
Yeah, must do.
All right. So the next picture, I just got a bunch of great shots of this thing that we've never seen before. So I thought I'd share them with you guys. This is it launching to a water world by the looks of it.
Interesting. I wonder why it's designed the way it is then, because I like the hexagonally diagonal pieces, but I'm wondering, I don't think that's the function. I don't think there's any functional space in that. I think it's just that top canopy. So that's all the technology? Do you think it's specializing sensor equipment? Do you think it's like, if there's no warp, what is taking up all that physical space? And you can see the 3 impulse drives at the back, but like,
it's a good question. I know they do have phasers because they actually use phasers in the episode to attack a sea monster that attacks the ship.
Aqua phasers.
There you go. So yeah, I don't know specifically. I would think specialized sensor equipment and stuff.
See, I would assume a lot of oxygen, because that's, I mean, they don't have replicators, although in Enterprise they do have recyclers, and you would think, but several emergency supplies and spacesuits and Aqua specialist spacesuits, things, because in space you're dead, but there's a lot less options bar a spacesuit. But in the ocean you need to have, well, it's the exact same atmosphere. You need to have all these reserves just in case, don't you?
Yeah, and I'm sure it has, like you said, recyclers to turn take oxygen out of the water and things like that. But should those go down, I'm sure they have backup oxygen supplies.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting.
So next picture is a shot of it landing. This one's called the Atlantis, and it's got on the front is one big huge like light, so it lights up what's in front of it.
That's interesting. It doesn't have the same diagonal. It's much more subtle in this one. It feels more like a book with a attached piece.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like having a single light. I mean, it's probably also sensors in there as well, or the deflector dish. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, if you need to see where you're going, so why not make it the biggest thing at the front? Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to deflect all the krill out of your way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it intrigues me they still have basards, because I don't think there's much, spatial matter in the notion. Like, does that mean that basards, or at least these modified, can they take hydrogen from water?
Well,
Hydrobasards?
It spends a lot of time in space as well. So.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time. I like I said, I assume this is a special mission one. But next shot is it underwater, the headlight on, and a sea creature, which is really cool. I love looking at these ones that fans have done because it really fleshes out the ship. And there you can see the two phaser banks underneath on the front.
That's interesting.
Kind of like a ball turret design.
And absolutely. And you get a sense that now I thought that it makes me feel better with scale now, because now the cockpit, like the fuselage, is deep. Yeah, exactly. It's a piece, and the ship's almost built around it to get sort of low center of gravity and make it. That's interesting. Huh. It's very interesting. It's kind of like if you look at the shape though, it's kind of like a shuttle pod from the NX-01 sort of shape. So they put a Connie shuttle around an NX-01 shuttle pod size.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, or a very simple rowboat is the shape I get from that middle part.
Or a rowboat, yes.
Yeah.
Tried and tested shape, Stuart.
The next shot confuses me a little bit. It's not as deep as it should be, but that gets corrected in the shot following this one, which is the size chart.
Oh, are we going to that shot? Or
not yet. Okay. I just want to talk about this one real quick. So this has the basic shape down, but like I said, definitely not deep enough. It doesn't show off that bottom part that we were just kind of talking about. So you can also see the door there behind the window that opens up for them to get into.
It's more submarine-y, this one. Like, you have to be sitting, you have to sort of crouch to get out.
Yeah. But let's move on to the next one then. And this has all the animated stuff in a size chart. And you can see the Aqua Shuttle there is 18 meters long and a lot deeper than the last picture.
Well, 18 meters, that's pretty substantial. The runabout's 23, so it's pretty darn big. And compared to a shuttle, I mean, that's they really are. That's interesting because the Type 7 shuttle is designed, or whichever class of shuttle it is designed to shuttle people, and if it can do warp, to do warp, and to have oxygen, and to have phases in the hold, and to be a decent life craft. But you can put that shuttle inside the Aqua Shuttle and then put another ship around it. So clearly, the systems on board have to, like, if you can pack all of that stuff in this main shuttle, this has got to be having some very specialized stuff in this bigger shuttle, because space is not that much easier to deal with than water.
Yeah. Well, it is odd to me, the sizing here. I would assume that this thing would be smaller than the Type F.
Okay.
Here we see it's like twice the size, essentially, which would take up a lot of shuttle bay.
Well, yeah, this would take up the shuttle bay. I mean, now, do you think, even though it is Aqua, do you think it could also be able to, say, go into a magma planet, or go to a gas planet, or liquid gas, or different states? Because water is one form of liquid, but maybe it can go into magnesium. Maybe it can go into all these hugely dangerous things. I mean, why build a shuttle just for water when the shuttle should also be able to deal with water? What do you think?
That's interesting, because gas giants have different layers of different, some gas, some liquid, and like you said, that's earlier about the Bizarre collectors. You could collect elements from inside of a gas giant, a couple layers down with this thing, perhaps, to bring back to the ship if needed.
It'd be a great survey craft if it can really survive a lot of atmosphere. Interesting. Quick question: did you audio sync at the start? Because I can't remember.
Yes, it did.
Okay, good. Just checking. I can't remember.
Okay, so the next shot, this is
Ooh.
just a fan done CGI one, the Cousteau, which was the name of the Jean-Luc Picard's Captain Yacht.
Precursor indeed.
Yeah, nothing really special about this one, so we'll just move on to the next one. And this one is the Cameron, named after James Cameron, who we know that he does a lot of deep sea dives and stuff, and he's visited the Titanic a few times.
He would find this useful, to say the least.
Absolutely, yes. Much more comfortable in here, I'm sure. Next shot is just another great shot of it going down to the planet and showing off those 3 impulse engines, which are a really cool design. I love it because you don't see impulse engines on the Type F shuttle per se. Well, you do. You got the big ones at the back, but they're so much bigger compared to like these are the ones on the back of the Type F, right?
Sure,
like they're huge, but knowing the size of this being half the size of that, it's just interesting that there's only 3 on this one.
One fan models are fan models, but it's nice to see some extra detail on this. You've got those extra red lines, but obviously they have some function. Clearly a cargo door of some kind. I mean, what do the red? I remember these from the TOS Connie. What do they tend to mean? The red boxy bits.
I'm not sure. I would think they're probably around the reaction control thrusters, so you can find them. We know that the RCS thrusters in the TOS Enterprise aren't visible because it's more of a smooth hull. But in the refit, you got they're yellow, of course, but they have the red striping around them as well. So I think this would be a carryover to that.
My guess with that bottom bay, and again, fan model, fan extrapolation, whatever, that might be a airlock. So someone gets in, someone lies down, and they can go out in some sort of spacesuit or
not even lay down. I mean, you could be underwater or on the surface, open up the doors, and then be able to put on your suit and go in.
What?
That's how.
I mean, just like there's different, there's different pressures. Like you wouldn't expose the entire cabin. I just meant like a separate airlock. So there's like there's the floor. They open up the floor. They get into the compartment, close it, opens out rather than opening the whole thing. So they've got force fields to some extent. So you would think force fields would be the issue, but obviously I would rather have a physical door as well. Hence why the shuttle bay has a door, not the force field. They still have doors.
Yeah, I never noticed that door on the bottom before, but I think that's exactly what it'd be for getting in and out of this thing while it's underwater. And there would be a force field used, of course, because we know that underwater bases and stuff now have that, where you open up a hatch in the floor and you just get in. So great addition, actually. The next picture, this I love because it involves the Dolphins, the Citation crew members. It's even wearing a TOS style shirt.
Well, they are very important crew members. Yeah, I think we used this picture for the TNG episode, Enterprise D with the Citation Ops. Yeah, neat. So it's nice that when you need this sort of craft, people in the community know there is an actual craft, in canon, or at least mostly canon to use. Neat.
This shot's also really cool because you get a good sense of scaling. You can see the door behind her that's not open. It's a different hull color. So if you flip that up, it still looks like you'd have to you wouldn't have a lot of headroom, I don't think, in there.
Yeah, Is there
antenna room? We don't know. We'd have to ask the Andorian. Hey, that's funny. Come on now.
Yep.
But this also shows it sitting in the water, using its buoyancy to float, so you can see where how much it displaces.
It's neat. I like it.
Next picture is just it leaving a base of some sort.
Cool.
Yeah. Next picture is it exploring one of the preserver obelisks underwater.
Ooh. Very nice.
Although it looks like a lot like a Tholian ship as well. And again, it shows off that really high intensity light at the front. Following one is it going up to the Enterprise, which is in the atmosphere for some reason. But
why not?
Again, very cool. Okay, the next one is a redesigned one that a fan has done without warp nacelles. This kind of makes more sense to me, especially for a specialist craft that's just going from ship to planet to the water. To not have warp nacelles. This looks more just like a yacht, just the shape of it from the side, but...
Well, I would think you'd want to save on water resistance and weight and all these things when dealing with specialist travel. So warp nacelles, let's take them out, and these will be cheaper to make. if money is an issue. Pretty simple redesign, but yeah, it works. It looks more, and also links into the later DS9 shuttle pod, similar-ish shapes.
Yeah. The only thing that bothers me about this picture is, well, it doesn't really bother me. I was going to say, why does a starbase need an Aqua Shuttle? But if it's orbiting a planet that's specifically researching, that makes perfect sense.
Or just on a starbase, like, or on a planet like we saw 2 pictures ago.
Yeah. Next one's just a shot of it with one of the shuttles from the animated series. And the next is the Aqua 2.5 shuttle that somebody designed to be the next kind of upgrade in this class. Again, very similar design, but different enough to include.
Looks more like a car, this one, because it's got those actual headlights. And I like the fact that the blinkies are in the facades. It seems silly, but looks interesting.
Yeah, that is a neat integration, isn't it?
Gives you a great sense of scale as well with the door and the physical cockpit interior.
And the cool steps going up. The next shot is the same thing, the Aqua 2.5, and this looks more like a yacht when it's floating.
Oh, that's great. That's just a space yacht.
It even has decking on the.
It has decking. Space decking, so aqua decking, Stuart. No, it's not decking. When you go into the surface of when you go into a sea, it polarizes and creates a bubble, so you can walk out and use your tricorder.
Why not?
Magnetizes against the water.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's the future.
Speaking of future, let's go to the next picture. And this is a shot of the interior of the Aqua Shuttle 2.5. Just showing some room. You got like 4 seats there, plus we can't see the other seat off to this left, but and then a rear compartment. And the next shot shows the actual rear section, which has got like your little galley. And I would assume maybe that black part on the floor would be the doors.
Yeah, why not? Interesting.
So,
very sleek.
Yeah, there you have it. Then the next picture is the last picture. It's just it leaving a planet. It's going up from the bottom of the ocean to head back up to the ship. So
neat. Well, I think my question, Stuart, is that knowing that the conventional Starfleet aesthetic is round shapes, is saucers, is nacelles, is pylons, is all organic shapes. This does not fit that. Theoretically, does not fit that conventional shape. Does this still feel Starfleet? Does it still feel practical? Does it still feel real? Would if you'd seen this when you first watched 1960s Trek, would you have thought, it's a natural fit as a TOS fanboy?
I think so, yeah. Because you got to think their shuttles take a real departure from the Starfleet aesthetic. The AMT one is very boxy and just like a wedge, basically. But we know why that was. It was easier to build physically for the prop guys. Matt Jeffries' shuttle was very rounded, which is similar to, I guess, the curves on the saucer and stuff of the Enterprise. But again, you put that Matt Jeffries' shuttle next to the Enterprise, it doesn't really say, the language doesn't really translate to be the same. So I think shuttles step outside the box, and I think this fits in perfectly.
Well, a mission profile of a starship, a mission profile of a shuttle are very radically different. And obviously a warp bubble, if it has one in the shuttle, totally different for a ship that size and a smaller ship. So you don't need the same, base shapes, and shuttles can be a lot more dedicated to specific, roles. Like we saw, there's other ones there to show the heavy shuttle and such. So why not break that mold? I don't like people that limit the Federation aesthetic to those 3 things. It's certainly the staple. But to limit it seems a little bit, foolish. And obviously, this is not a major used shuttle. But why modify the Type F? Why not design a new one? You've got the resources. Why not?
Exactly. Yeah. That in conclusion, that's the Aqua Shuttle. I just thought it was a very interesting addition to this Star Trek universe, and I thought I'd really like to show off some pictures that I had found over the years of it. So hopefully, you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, from my point of view, very simple, not a lot to talk about, but I appreciate that shot with the hatch at the bottom, at least something to talk about. It's the problem with very, very grounded designs is that that's all they are. You know what I mean? That's what you can talk about. So it kind of fits, and that's a good thing. It doesn't lead to that much conversation, but that shows that it works. Or at least we can see it working.
Yeah.
That's my final thought.
So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this animated discussion talking about an animated ship from the animated series.
Animated.
If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe as always, and share this video around to everybody that you think might appreciate it.
And if you want to support the show, there's two ways. Either trekyards.com, where you press the donate button and you give a one-time donation of whatever you want, 10, 20, 1,000, 5,000, $1 million, whatever you want to give. We don't mind. Or
I love that subconscious million in there.
I gotta keep doing it. Or our monthly donation scheme, which is Patreon, which is a YouTube service. It helps creators of content like us. It gives us a dedicated income every single month to guarantee timed to put towards these shows and every show we do on this channel, which is a lot, as you guys know, which I'm sure you all enjoy. So support the show, which makes more shows, which means more fun for you, and then more renders, and just help if you can. Even $5 a month would help.
Exactly. So, yeah, we're going to be doing some more ships from the animated series, so stay tuned, guys. And, yeah, we will see you next time. Until then, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Combs.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.